the biggest story not involving the playing games and the seeding as we come down the stretch here. It seems like he gets one every single night right now. Russ does.
He's averaging it again. This will be like the fourth time.
Yeah.
He's averaging one right now, and he's on his way to a third assist title, and he is on his way to his 11th straight year scoring 20 plus, and in the last half a dozen of them, it's 25 plus,
right,
including 1 year at 31, and he had a game that by even his own lofty standards was remarkable on Monday night in that little 154 to 141 triumph, a game I loved against the Pacers. He only took 8 shots, Jeff. He took 8 shots. He made 5.
It's like he's trying to prove something, but they got to win games. So
but he had 21 rebounds and a career high 24 assists. Amazing. And I am here to tell you that in the history of the league, there haven't been too many 24 assist games by anybody at any time. And then last night they won. I mean, they lost by a point to Milwaukee on Wednesday evening. He came out checked in with a routine 29, 12, 17 assists. Okay, so I raised this question. Is he still getting his proper appreciation? And if not, why not? And I know I'm part of the problem because I'm still reluctant to fully acknowledge his greatness. Why? I don't seem to like him. And yet, is this fair or unfair? What is my problem? I don't know. What is?
I think, again, I think part of it is he hasn't won at a high enough level, right? That's number one. He's on a team right now that's, just struggling to get in with 2 of the top players in the game. If Russ and Brad Beal, those are two of the.
They are playing. They are playing well as we speak.
They are. Listen, they're playing well, but they're still 30 and 36 and struggling just to get into playing.
Oh yeah.
So Russ hasn't been on teams lately that have been great. I mean, and again, it's funny because I go through it too. When I've talked to Russ, I don't know Russ well by any means, but when I've talked to him, there's a part of me that loves Russ because of how competitive he is.
Oh boy.
And after games, you'll find times where if you ask him something, if they've won, Russ is great, even if he doesn't put up numbers.
Mm-hmm.
And when they've lost, he is the worst human being in the world to deal with as media. So I respect that, Bob.
Yeah, he's
in a lot of ways. I do. I respect his competitiveness. He doesn't play the game with the media at all. He's old school, and he is just so talented. But again, has he gotten better as a shooter? No. I mean, he's really. I mean, let me see if I have it in me right now. Shooting 31% from 3 this year.
No, that's
got
about
26% from 3 last. I mean, the best year he ever had shooting the 3 was in 16-17. He shot 34% from 3.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a guy who really hasn't gotten better in that regard. And I think certainly that's hurt him. But as much as anything, I think media is hot and cold with this guy because he's hot and cold with us.
Yeah. He's not.
He doesn't want to, he hasn't.
He's not
gotten along with KD. He and KD don't get along great. It feels like he's never kind of meshed with whoever he's played with, whether it's the personality part of it or the game part of it.
Yeah, and yet, right? There's something. But you're talking about not having won enough at the highest level. You don't hold that against Oscar. By the way, because
right.
Of course, he was in the up. He was with good Royals teams that couldn't get by the Russell Celtics.
Yep.
Then he finally, late in life, he got the chance to go to Milwaukee, and he in fact got a ring, and went back to another finals what I believe was his final year at 73, 74. But nobody holds that against him. But you can't hold it. Nobody holds anything against anybody who didn't win in the Russell era. That's a different matter.
Right, exactly.
And you can't. I mean, that the same holds true for West and Baylor and a lot of other truly good players that didn't win because the Celtics were monopolizing everything in those days. Anyway, and Oscar yet is the guy that Westbrook gets, linked with for obvious reason, an obvious reason. So no, it's just, I just think it's interesting. It's just, I don't know how to, we put it a yeah, but, or what, for the full acknowledgement of his greatness. He keeps doing this thing. I mean, when the first year he did it, they go to average a triple double. Oh, it was historic because nobody's done it since Oscar.
Yeah.
And now we go, oh yeah, well, okay, that's
but is it, does it mean less, Bob? Because like you said, the scores are in the 130s, consistently. How do you equate it to what Oscar did?
Okay, I love this one because in Oscars, this is what's, you can't dispute this. In Oscar's day, it was easier to get rebounds and harder to get assists.
Sure.
Easier to get rebounds because people took a lot of shots and made fewer of them as a group. The standard in Oscar's time was you better get up 100 shots a night if you're going to win a game. Okay, that was just a given. No one wrote it down in the cement, but it was what everybody understood. That was understood. And meanwhile, obviously there was no such thing as an assist on a three-pointer. There was no three-pointer. There was no such thing as an assist on a 20-footer either, as a rule. Right. You had to have a
real assist.
And you better hope that guy didn't dribble more than twice on his way to the basket.
That's the difference. That's the difference for me with assists. From the way they used to judge assists. Now it's like, it feels like everything's a hockey assist even.
I've seen the transformation. And you can bet that I can tell you exactly, in my opinion, this is where it started to change, and that was Magic. And they liked padding. They wanted Magic to get those assists, and and I just think it accelerated from there. I'm not saying it began with Magic, but it really took root with Magic. And the idea of what and Bird benefited from it. Bird benefited. Sure. I mean, they all did it. Once the three came in, you get an assist on a three, but it's harder to get. It was much, much harder to get an assist in those days for anybody. So what Oscar did by averaging double figures assists in 1962
is amazing.
Was really that's something. Now, rebounds are harder to get now. People take fewer shots, make more of them. Yep. Period. So the way we should judge rebounders. And this goes back to when Dennis Rodman was in his heyday. And for me, and historically, very simple, percentage of available rebounds.
Totally.
You can do this.
Yep.
And you can rate the historically great rebounders by percentage of available rebounds. So we know exactly, we can find out where Russell rates and where Moses Malone rates and where Dennis Rodman rates and where Andre Drummond rates now.
Who's the greatest rebounder you've ever seen?
Well, it was Russell.
Yeah.
And in his time, and the quickness to the ball, and Wilt's numbers, but people see these box score numbers, 25 rebounds a game. Well, there were a lot of rebounds to get, folks. I have to tell you, there were a lot of rebounds to get. Somebody had to get them. I'll tell you though, Rodman was a tremendous rebounder. He was a great two-way rebounder in this time. And I say, offense and defensive rebound. Barkley.
Yeah.
Barkley was a great rebounder, and
he used his body. He used that so well.
He used that butt, and he was relentless on the offensive boards, and he was a great two-way rebounder. The greatest offensive rebounder, though, in mythical, was Moses. I'll never forget this one, Jeff. I was moonlighting from a Celtic road trip, and I actually made a road trip in 1975, I think it was. Okay. In which the Celtics were going west, and I hopped off the plane in Chicago to start off, and went to see the Knicks play the Bulls. I told the trainer to pick my bag up at the airport in I think Omaha was the next stop. They were playing, so no, it was a little business. All right, and then I moonlighted in between the Celtic games in the ABA, and I went to games in Denver and Salt Lake City, and I went to 6 games in 6 nights in 6 different states.
Did you really?
2 different leagues. Now that was a trip. That was all right. I walk into Salt Lake City, I think, and they're playing. Who the hell was? Oh, Moses was with them. Was with the Utah Stars, right? And Larry Brown's coaching the Nuggets, and I knew Larry. And he says, "Bob, Moses Malone is the greatest offensive rebounder I've ever seen in my life. He was 19 years old. And the standard of excellence in those days, Jeff, was I covered him, Paul Silas.
Yeah.
And I'm saying, Larry.
Right.
Please.
He's 19.
Bob, I'm telling you.
Right.
Well, guess what? The man knew wherever he spoke.
He was a beast. I mean, Moses was.
And, the relentlessness, the quickness to the ball. That's the great thing about rebounding, the timing. I heard, all right, rebounding. I'm going to go. I'm mounting the soapbox, folks, right now, because we're on the topic. All right, let's talk about it. Here's the number one rule of rebounding. Do you want the damn ball or don't you? Effort. Number one. Number two, positioning. Number three, timing. Can't be taught. Number four, strength to hold the position, if necessary. And fifth and least important, jumping.
Yeah.
Least important, right. 5. And the great proof of that was Wes Unseld.
Couldn't get off the floor.
He didn't have. He didn't. Now, I saw the young Wes Unseld, by the way, as a sophomore at Louisville, who only weighed about 235 or 40 at that point,
really?
And had some lift. And because the first time I ever saw Wes Unseld, Jeff, he dropped 35 points and 26 rebounds on the Boston College Eagles, but we beat them in triple overtime. And we beat them in triple overtime in the NIT. Anyway, so that's the rebounding thing. And Moses Malone fulfilled the effort one, the positioning one, the timing one, the other one, the quickness of your leap, the quickness to the ball. Russell was astonishingly quick to the ball. Wilt was not. Russell didn't have to gather himself, Wilt did. Yeah. Well, of course, Wilt was 7'1" and a specimen, but he had to gather himself. If you don't have to gather yourself, was very quick to the ball in his young prime, was a great rebounder. And Bird, people talk about he didn't run, he didn't jump. He was
position.
The ball.
Yeah,
and he fulfilled. Yep. You wanted to get it.
Everything else.
The positioning, the timing, and quickness to the ball. And that's a gift. That is a gift. That cannot be taught, as far as I know.
See, I think with Westbrook and rebounding, obviously you got two things. You got effort, and you got quickness and athleticism and all that. And that can make up for a lot of other things if you want it, especially as a guard. I mean, you got to put a body on Russ.
I'm sorry. Yes, you're right. But the positioning thing, it also includes the intelligence of understanding angles, and so many guys are Moses understood where a ball is likely to come off based on where the shot was taken, kind of thing. That's I don't know if that's teachable or that is just an instinct. I don't know, but that's part of the whole positioning thing I'm talking about. And I'm sure. Right, so I gotta believe that Westbrook is a master of that.
No, listen. Again, Russell Westbrook's going to go down. I mean, he's going to be a Hall of Famer. He's going to be a guy that probably never quite gets the respect that maybe he deserved. And like you said, there are questions as to why, but I think the biggest reason is he hasn't won at the highest level, and he's played with some pretty darn good play. He played with KD. He's played with Paul George. He played with Harden last year.
Yeah.
He's now playing with Bradley Beal. So it's not like he's been left on an island by himself, yet they haven't been able to do it. Now, again, I get it. A lot of the teams that have won with 3 guys, right?
Yeah.
But the Lakers won with 2. The Lakers won with 2. They won with the best player on the planet, but they've won with 2. It can be done with 2 if you're that good. To me, Russell Westbrook isn't that good.